that happened, but it seems unusual that an MD's PA
if you've got that to save me hunting. If you've got that to save me hunting, can you bring it over? But I think, I interrupted you. And
it only came out on Friday because I met with Hannah and Liam Brown about putting some formal process in for next year about holiday entitlement and booking, how people fundamentally request that. And the reason for that was Hannah made me aware last week that she'd been quite shocked with looking at the bonus calculation for surveyors. Bearing in mind there's a month lag, so anything that surveyors have earned in October gets paid at the end of November. So she was looking at the October bonus situation. And allegedly, Joe Miller had advised the bookkeeper, Louise Miller, to pay bonus pro rata. And what that means is that this is not contractual. That was the first thing I checked, and I was shocked to see. So, for instance, a surveyor who had only had 6 working days in the month of October and had earned X amount of, it provided X amount of value, pounds in terms of those surveys, had been paid that bonus percentage for those. So in other words, he'd had 3 weeks off. I think 1 week was holiday, 2 weeks were sickness, but his bonus had been calculated on the 6 days that he'd worked.
As opposed to the whole month.
As opposed to the whole month. And I'm told from Hannah that Louise Miller had said, I didn't think it was right, but Joe Miller had told me to pay it like that. So in other words, from my point of view, from HR, what I said was, well, all you're doing is driving the wrong behaviours. So guess what? You've got high absence levels. You've got because the idea, you're better off being off. You might as well be off because you'll still get your bonus at the end of the month. Based on the days you've worked and not being in work for a full month. Why you would do that, why anybody would do that, I have no idea. I absolutely have no idea. I'm all about, rewarding people, yes, but you're driving the wrong behaviours by making those decisions.
Right, so I wasn't aware of that. So that's obviously only come out recently.
This is something that's come out, it's only come up in the last few
so what's
days.
the holiday, the annual leave thing, or the leave issue, is that's been brought to you because of this email
So basically, where this started, Hannah had emailed me to say, we've got this situation with a surveyor who's only worked 6 days. He should, and these figures aren't quoted. These are just, So
I understand.
Normally a bonus or any bonuses that since we've started to produce the contracts of employment, have typically been around a surveyor has a threshold of £10,000 or £11,000 a month, after which anything they earn over and above that, they are paid a bonus of 50% of that. So if a bonus threshold is £10,000 and a surveyor brings income in of £12,000, there's a £2,000 above the threshold, they get 50% of that. That is the bonus situation that we've
in any given accounting period.
In a month.
Yeah.
In a month. And they are the contracts that we've been told. So that is we were told that's what you pay, that's what you put in the contracts. For sometimes it's been 9,000, sometimes it's been 10,000, sometimes it's been 11,000 as the threshold. And that was Joe or Alison Chambers providing us with that information. What has happened in the case that I've just discussed is that person wasn't in the business for a month. They'd only worked 6 days. So the bonus was worked out on a pro rata basis. So I don't know what 6 working day was, maybe 20% of that. So that would be maybe £2,000-3,000 threshold that they've earned over and above that, and a person who has only worked in the month for 6 days has had a £950 bonus payment.
Bonus for working 6 days.
For working 6 days. Don't quote me on that. It's close.
No. I'm not after the precise. It's the concept.
And Hannah asked me, what should we do? I said, you don't pay it. It's not contractual. You do not pay it. That is not in that surveyor's contract.
So, two questions for you then. One is, in the light of what you're finding here, is that going to cause some employee disruption or upset?
It will. There's two ways of looking at it, I think. One is they'll think, well, we've got away with it because they're not stupid. And I would think, all right, well, I've got away with it. I now have to sort myself out. The other is that actually, well, no, I'm not happy about that because I've had X amount of months where I've been paid that, and I've only had to, I don't know and without then going into, a massive exercise of going back over 30 surveyors and checking every month. Again, it's
what justification is there for having bonus thresholds different for people on the same job?
Different salaries, different abilities, I think, different locations. So in other words, I think the decision's been made based on location, potential, and all of those sort of things. That, there's been different salaries for somebody in Milton Keynes as opposed to somebody in Newcastle on Tyne, say.
Okay.
Which you understand. But bonuses has been, for me, that again has been MD setting that. So there was, so though that's come out in the last.
So there doesn't appear to be a sort of a documented corporate position on how bonuses are allocated to contract, negotiated, and then delivered.
No, and this is where the meeting that, not knowing this about pro rata, this has only come out in the last week. Prior to that, part of my wanting to speak to Joe Miller was about bonus threshold, only because we were getting questions from surveyors saying, how does it work? So this goes back to me saying in an interview process, you would have that, everybody would understand. I've worked in businesses where bonuses are, that's the mechanism of the business, but that's always been documented, clear, and everybody's known it from day one, sort of thing. And that's how we do it. Okay.
And just finally from me then, how have you found the relationship with the company in terms of your professional expectation and the services you provide since Joe Miller has not been in the seat?
It's been massively different. Yes, you could say on the one hand we've been required because there's been a lot more that we've been asked to support on, advise on because of this situation. But outside of this situation, we've been very much, I have never worked so much with a company, provided outsourced HR support, and Christine would say the same, because we've been literally asked on a daily basis. We've suddenly been asked as part of the team to shape how things could look.
Right.
Clearly, at the moment, we can't be involved with any sort of restructuring, and we wouldn't advocate that because there's been no decision in terms of Joe Miller's position.
Absolutely.
But our advice is we cannot make any restructuring decisions, but we have to ensure business continuity. And in ensuring business continuity, we advise accordingly. And for instance, we're now being consulted on issues such as the bonus, such as holidays, such as attendance, such as probationary periods, such as performance, that you would expect a HR
service to be
contributing towards. Maybe not always, the decision makers, but certainly as part of that process. So it's been very much different in as much as we've been asked to advise and offer our opinions on a lot of these areas. And I've got to say they have been listened to, but it's been about business continuity and nothing to do with a reshaping or restructuring.
No, but it is about also best practice to protecting the company.